We are in the business where whether it is a construction or operation, there are perils at sea, there are hazards in construction. So we give very high importance to safety, and we consider it everybody's business and we practice it. In Bhumi Armada, we have 4 business streams: floating production solution, floating gas solutions, our offshore support vessels, and T&I business. Each and all these businesses are supported by technology and development projects and the sales and marketing, because without them, we can't be in the business. If they don't bring the business, rest of the people will suffer. Our footprint is across the globe. We have 6 operating FPSOs, 3 FPSOs under project execution, and 1 gas floating solution under execution. And you can see our customer base. It is probably who is who in the industry. Coming to the topic of the today, FPSO industry, cost and schedule increases. If you look at our industry's past track record, it's not very impressive. Where we are today, the FPSO lease business is basically getting into deeper and harsher environment, and FPSOs are not going to disappear if somebody has to produce oil or gas in the waters of 1000 meter or 2000 meter or even 500 meter. They will be there. The naysayer may say anything, but there is no alternate solution at the moment where you can store and process both the elements together. There is a shrinking lead time because capital is important for the oil industry. There is a strong focus on the cost reduction in the current prices, and more than that, there is a dynamic decision making. People want to make decision in the short run because the capital is expensive. They want to make it under uncertain situation, and in this case, even if I place an order on my supplier, I would like him to take some more responsibilities than he normally takes. So there is a transfer of responsibilities and the risk to down below in the food chain. Then the oil is national asset. There's a desire of the local people to be benefited by the oil, whether the infrastructure is developed or not developed. So you should not be surprised when you see 80% local content in one of the faraway African nation. Exploitation of marginal oil field in today's situation, it's a question mark. The field life is uncertain, the production is uncertain. If the prices are high, things will be much better. And lastly, the cost overrun and the schedule delays changes the rate of return and the cash flows. Now, in this situation, if we all do not come together, then there is unlikely that any of us will grow or survive. So the question today in everybody's mind is how to make the lease industry thrive and grow in this kind of difficult environment. Now, if you look at the oil price, it has gone through the various segments: era of cheap oil, tight energy, the gold rush, then financial crisis, and then another gold rush, and then another crash. And if I take away the 8, if I take away the 8 replicant, then you can see that the FPSO orders have more or less followed the oil price with some lag. That means people put in more money if the oil price is good, people put in less money if it is not good. And what is our performance? There were new players, there are all kind of speculative. And if you look at this, the median cost overrun is 33%. And the median schedule overrun is 14%. And why it is this kind of a graph appearing? Because this graph consists of the entire industry, in which some service providers are not as good or not as well organized as others. What are the factors contributing? If you look on the factors contributing, you will see 50% is contributed by the people and the supply chain. And if you look at the project segments, you would see the growth in the project management and engineering has been quite significant. These are the percentages, but these percentages are based on the low denominator. Project management, $40 million, 48%, the increase is $20 million. If you take fabrication, the project cost may be $150 million, it's a $15 million increase. So the percentage can be a little bit misleading, but the increase in the cost has been across all the project segments, and it has been quite significant. Now, with this kind of situation, how does one expect to make a healthy profit and good rate of return and continue to thrive in this business when the oil prices have come down? What are the causes? Why our industry don't learn? This is not that we are in the FPSO business today and we are still on the learning curve. The FPSOs have been in the operation for 10, 20, 25, 30 years. Why we don't learn? This morning was talked about the behavioral aspect, and the majority, as you saw in the previous slide, is 50% is contributed by the people and the organizational issues. So the reason is, sometimes the oil industry executives sell their management, they take long time in FID, but want to reduce the project execution because that is where the contractor takes over the responsibility. And it is the same thing we do with our supply chain. We place order late, but we want you to deliver early. Incomplete engineering. And all this incomplete engineering creates problem, both for the supply chain, because a new interface gets created, with the fabrication facilities, because there is a rework, and then we also sometimes use, because we want to reduce the cost, yards which have not done the work before, but we consider that they have a potential, but that potential comes at a cost. It doesn't come free of charge. And lastly, there are some items which are like a black box, software dependent. With incomplete information, the ICSS has been configured, but we are reconfiguring that in the offshore for months together. It delays. It doesn't come cheap. Now, what really goes wrong in the project execution? As I mentioned in my previous slide, we have engineering, procurement, construction. The engineering and procurement are initiator and enabler. The construction will not be able to deliver if there is no drawing, no material. And if the engineering get delayed, the material will get delayed because the vendors don't have the required input, or they are waiting for the changes. Nozzle sizes have changed, the footprint have changed, you name it. All of us, day in and day out, when we do our business, we see these kind of things. Once the material is not there, the engineering is not there, then the only other alternative is, let us throw a lot of manpower and try to complete it and still sail away because the installation vessel is waiting. And in that respect, what happens? Because you are in a rush, you start ignoring the quality. It will come and bite you back when you are commissioning. People have first oil, but they don't have acceptance. Why they have a first oil? Because the client opens the bell, the oil will come to your FPSO or onto your facility. Why there is no acceptance? Because there is flanges are leaking, system is not working, and anything that you can think of happens when you try to make the things in rush. Or let us sail away with incomplete work and we will do it in the offshore. Hookup cost grows by months, and all these things don't happen that one happen, other doesn't happen. All of them can happen to any project at any point of time. Is there a way out? The cost saving that we talk has to be front-end loaded. More intelligent mind, brains, more collaborative and cooperative approach that we take in the front end is going to benefit us immensely. If we don't have time, if we don't have the quality resources because we are still staffing the project team, then the project will move on, and then there will not be any time. And if there is no time, even if we try to extract some benefit, it will be marginal and not something significant. The chances of the project cost increase and schedule overrun, you can see them right in the front when we are somewhere in the engineering phase. If the engineering is disrupted, there is all probability that one will not be able to deliver the project on schedule or on the cost. Project definition. This is really a catch-22 situation. What happens is you get from the big oil companies maybe 20 books of the tender, and even when it comes to us, we provide probably a heap of paper to all our suppliers, quote against these, no deviations accepted. Is this the way forward? Yes, we will quote, but then what will we do? We will take deviations, we will take TQs, we will have an argument. It is therefore necessary that if we want to really reduce the cost, what we do is that we provide at all levels, whether it's starting from the oil company down, only what is meaningful, not a heap of paper. If we want to provide heap of paper, I don't think in 3 months' time, unless I have an army of people, that I would be able to read all the specification, and so are my suppliers. What causes engineering delays? Quality of resources. We may have a lot of experienced people. The mindset. This is the real problem of our industry. Even though we are in the FPSO business, leasing business, we think we are selling the FPSO. Oil company thinks they are owning the FPSO, so every line has to be crossed, everything has to be according to the specification, section number so and so, page number so and so. Whether it's relevant or not, buying, I should get more by paying less. It doesn't work that way. Engineering subcontractor, they don't put the right team, and more important, the owners don't have the right kind of resources who can control the subcontractor or direct the subcontractor. And biggest gamble, PDMS. That is where all the delays occurs. Piping design mainly in secret. Nobody knows what is happening. You can only see pretty pictures. And there is an excuse which is available all the time to everybody. Vendor data not available in time. there is a late receipt of operation input, so we start doing the engineering when the construction is already 60% done. And lastly, when you have a technical discussion, if somebody cannot explain what he is asking for, he runs behind safety, operability, maintainability, and those kind of issues because he can't explain. And if the moment you hear the word safety, you better follow it rather than questioning him. This is a curve which shows that the engineering gets delayed. What is the impact on the project cost? More it gets delayed, the more project cost increases. How can we improve? First is remove the mindset. It's not the FPSO provider. If he is leasing, he knows his business, he knows what is important to him in his life cycle cost. Don't impose every well and whistles either on the FPSO provider or on the supply chain down below. Those are the experts, learn from them. Be a collaborative approach rather than being a contract-oriented approach. Don't be hidebound by the past practices. Oh, this we have done in the past, we should follow this. If we don't understand, let's start with a clean slate. And obviously, many a time we use internal resources because they are available. But the moment you start, they will say they need more manpower. We should try to use internal resources judiciously and rely more on our vendors and subcontractors to do the work because they know that work much better than we know about the work. And lastly, inspect your vessel. There has been issues when you buy the vessel, additional 3,000 tons of the steel, the things not working, they are going to add to the cost and they are going to add to the schedule. These are few pointers that I just listed for people to look at it. Catalogs and specs. Last minute you find that few valves are missing or few pieces of the piping are missing because somebody has not looked at the catalogs and specifications and wrong material has been purchased. Spares. Are we going to do another module on the FPSO in the middle of the ocean? Should we require those spares? If we don't, why to put the cost on those? Do we need one of highly unlikely scenario and we should provide for that? And lastly, we are using a 20-year-old vessel. Technology have changed. We should not try to reinvent the wheel and try to make an old fart a sweet 16. And lastly, I have seen many people applying oil and gas industry standard to marine. We call the boiler supplier and tell him, do you comply with 14C? He doesn't even know what is 14C. He says, I can supply you boiler as per class and at half the price. But if you want to 14C, the delivery will be 6 months late and the price will be double. Do we really need that when the one boiler is already working in the engine room? Contracting strategy. When we do the bid, we make a project execution plan, but it is copied. When we start the project, we change it. If we don't have the proper project execution plan, all our contracting strategy and the execution strategy will undergo change, and it will have an impact. People and organization, this is basically a repeat, but this is something which is one of the most important factor for the cost reduction and the behavioral change of the industry that can help to reduce the cost and deliver the project on time. These are the few takeaways from my presentation. We know that FPSOs are fast track, but not everybody can deliver. Look at your supplier who can deliver to your required quality and on the schedule and in the cost. They have the schedule and cost impact have direct impact on the benefit or health of the organization. We require a strong project and engineering management, and for that we need qualified and motivated resources. So, gentlemen, this was the summary. In my understanding, it is not that we don't know what are our problems, but we should take courage and solve the problems, because nobody else can solve our problem. We can only solve our problems. Thank you.